Xbox's president Phil Spencer just announced that Call of Duty will be coming to the Nintendo Switch, which is actually pretty impressive, seeing that this thing could barely run the latest Pokemon game.
Are you listening?
Welcome back, friends. Big story today, as late last night, Xbox's president Phil Spencer turned the video game industry on its head by revealing that Microsoft and Nintendo have come to a 10-year agreement that will see Call of Duty come to the Nintendo platform. Big caveat here, this only happens if Xbox's acquisition of Activision Blizzard is approved by regulators. But either way, this is still big news for Nintendo fans, as the last Call of Duty game to release on Nintendo was Call of Duty Ghosts for the Wii U back in 2013. And I gotta imagine that this was like a pretty straightforward meeting. Hello, Mr. Furukawa, would you like to have Call of Duty on the Nintendo Switch? Yeah. We would very much like that. And like I said in the beginning of this video, I'm genuinely intrigued on how Xbox is gonna make this happen, because the Nintendo Switch cannot handle Call of Duty. The latest Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 requires 78 gigabytes of storage, and I've seen this game push the PlayStation 4 to its limits, let alone start to question what type of sacrifices would have to be made in order to port the game to Nintendo. Like, this era of Nintendo has such a history of terrible ports. I, for one, am still recovering from Ark Survival Evolved on the Switch, and I can't even imagine what Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 would look like. However, look, I will be the first to admit, maybe I'm being too harsh here. Nintendo has made some decent advancements in cloud gaming. I mean, we've seen games like Kingdom Hearts, Resident Evil, Guardians of the Galaxy all run on the Nintendo Switch via cloud gaming. So it is definitely possible that Call of Duty could run on the Switch via cloud gaming, and let's not forget, Xbox has their own cloud gaming offering, so it's very possible that Call of Duty comes to the Nintendo Switch via Xbox Cloud Gaming. But, and I do want to point out, this is speculation, the other alternative here is Call of Duty might come back to Nintendo alongside a brand new Nintendo console, which, dear Christmas baby 5-ounce Miyamoto, please just come out with a new console already. The Nintendo Switch released back in 2017, and at that time, it was already behind the current generation of gaming, the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One. And since then, we've seen the PlayStation 4 Pro, PS5, Xbox One X, and the Xbox Series X. Nintendo desperately needs to update their hardware, and probably the best example of this is how buggy and glitchy the latest Pokemon games were on the platform. Game Freak was uber ambitious with this game, and while Pokemon is definitely a tentpole property for Nintendo, the game still struggled to run with the current Nintendo hardware. But look, new Switch hardware aside, going back to this story, say what you will about Xbox, I think that this proves that they are experts in controlling the news cycle. One day this week, Xbox is like, hey, just FYI, video games are gonna start costing $70 around here. And there's outrage and looting and rioting in the street, and then a few days later, Xbox is like, hey, we're bringing Call of Duty to the Nintendo Switch. And all those people who were outraged were like, wow, that's actually really good news. Completely overlooking that there's gonna be a price increase, so bravo, Phil Spencer. Now, we definitely need to note that this announcement from Xbox is 100% to do with PlayStation's apprehension to Microsoft's acquisition of Activision Blizzard. If you're not aware, PlayStation is probably one of the most vocal opponents to this acquisition, and while this deal is currently being investigated by regulators from various countries, Xbox has tried to appease PlayStation's concerns by offering a similar 10-year deal guaranteeing Call of Duty on the PlayStation platform for the next 10 years. However, PlayStation has been less than eager to accept these new terms in hopes that regulators will force this deal not to happen. So Microsoft creating this deal with Nintendo, at least in the eyes of regulators, shows that Xbox isn't going to just hoard these games and create a video game monopoly. Smart move by Xbox, but I do not want to play Call of Duty on the Switch. Just get me a new console, Nintendo.